Hello once again, and well, not once again. Hopefully, this is the last recording or take I'm doing with this particular image. But I wanted to take the chance to talk about an image that I posted on Substack a couple of posts ago. I call this one The Road to Jhansi or Delhi to Jhansi or something like that. I forget the title of the actual blog post. Anyway, if you remember, I had mentioned that, or I had written that between Delhi and Agra, I did not feel as if I was on the highway. I felt as if I was on or driving through an extended city. It's like, imagine a city becomes a tube and you got to drive along this long tube with all the muck and the mess and the traffic and the people and the smoke and the smog and all of that. Only when I passed Agra, when I crossed Agra, did I suddenly feel as if I was now standing below or beneath the open sky, and I suddenly felt as if the wide open vista of the universe was there in front of me. That's what I felt like. And I was excited because after a few hours of driving, I suddenly felt as if I was on the road or on the highway. Now, I jumped out of the car and ran to the center of the road. The center of the road is actually here, so I didn't run there. I ran to the center of my part of the road going towards Jhansi. I only had to make sure that nobody was behind me and that nobody wanted to bang into me. So that was important. Now, what's nice about the image and what's not so nice about the image? Well, let's see. The horizon is low. That was the intention. So the sky is the hero or the main hero, as it were. The road, which has these converging lines, becomes, you might say, like a support cast, a strong support cast. And converging lines are a very important compositional element when you're making a photograph. And you'll see that these lines are consistent everywhere. So this part is nice. So the image has promise, but in this color version, it's flat. The colors are muted, there's very little contrast, and nothing really stands out. It doesn't mean that if you have an image which has low contrast, it becomes flat and boring, but it depends very much on the, let's say, the composition or on the composition of the image and the various elements that you have in the image. That is critical. So I thought I'd convert this to black and white and see what I could achieve, and I felt that the black and white image had more potential. So before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about light. 7 colors make up the spectrum that we know as white light. We don't see these colors very much, but what happens really is if somebody is wearing a red shirt, that shirt is reflecting the red wavelength, which then enters our eye, and so we perceive the color red. That's how it happens. 7 colors or 7 wavelengths make up light. I won't go into wavelengths at this point. I will do that subsequently. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. These are the wavelengths or the colors that make up the spectrum of light. Recall the cover of the Pink Floyd album, The Dark Side of the Moon. You have white light going into a pyramid, and boom, out comes these 7 colors, giving you the spectrum or the rainbow. And that's what it is. A rainbow effectively is just the white light being split into the different colors or the composite colors. What I want you to focus on is the distance. So you will see here that red is far away from blue. Red and orange are not very far away from green. This is important when you are looking at black and white photography, because in black and white you use color filters in black and white film photography, you use color filters to create a sense of drama or a softer image with lower drama. So keep this in mind. Now, we use normally 4 main filters: yellow, green, orange and red. I could not find my yellow filter, so what you see here is green, orange and red. So what does it do? Now, for instance, if you're using a red filter, it's not going to turn the color of the image or the photograph red, because it's a black and white picture, and the emulsion on the film only will produce a black and white photograph. A red filter will let in red light, and what you're going to end up with is red being more exposed, which looks white on the final image. So someone wearing a red shirt will appear as though he or she is wearing a white shirt or a light colored shirt. The sky, however, the blue color of the sky turns almost black because the red blocks almost all the blue from entering the camera. Orange blocks less of the blue, and so the sky will look a darker shade of gray. Similarly, yellow and green will allow more of the blue to pass through but block a little bit of the blue, so the sky will appear a lighter shade of gray. So when you see an image, a black and white image done with film, and if you see that the sky is gray, you might conclude that the photographer has used a yellow or a green filter. If it's a darker shade of gray, then you might conclude they've used an orange filter, and if it's almost black, then you might conclude they have used a red filter. Similarly, if you use a green filter in a scene with lots of foliage, trees, hedges and stuff like that, then the grass and the leaves will appear almost white. So you can manipulate the image by choosing the appropriate filter. But just remember, in black and white film photography, once you take the image, it's by and large done. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done in the dark room, but you have created a very strong base. Digital photography gives you some more flexibility, and there are a million ways of doing it. I normally use a software called Nick Silver FX Pro. I like that a lot, and I find that the tools in Nick Silver FX Pro are closer to traditional black and white photography, and traditional in a certain sense. So I ended up with this image, which I thought had considerably more drama than the image that I started with. The sky is black, as you can see here. There are shades of gray going down here. You have these lines, which is very nice. Again, the sky is the hero, which is very cool. Now, when I did this edit, I thought that I had done a fantastic job. And when I look back at it now, I think, yes, it is a good job. I did a good job, but not something that I would send to a competition, because there are a few, let's say, areas that I now regret. So, this section, if you look at it, if you look at this section, I think it's too black. The cloud needs to have some definition for it to be interesting. Like this section, for instance, has shades of gray. This is just a black splodge. This is dark, but I don't mind it because this is not a major section of the part of the image. I like the black road because the white markings on the road stand out beautifully. The black sky is fantastic. I like that. I achieved what I wanted. But this section here again, and this section here, too white. Now, when something is too white, in general, it's again got no definition like something which is too black. And the difference is that you can use sections of pure black to bring out a really strong sense of drama. Now the problem with sections that are too white is that your eyes go to that section which is too white and it stays there. It doesn't travel around the photograph. So whenever I find the time to redo this image, these are some areas that I will correct. I will do another post in the next photograph dissection, and in that particular dissection I will show you how in those particular images the black is actually effective. So I hope you enjoyed this, and well, see you next time around.